welcome to Concert Pipeline. I'm Steve Jones. Today on the program, we have Cody Jasper. He has a new album called Rock is Dead, which comes out April 10th, and there have been a couple of singles already dropped from it, the most recent being Dirty, which you can check out, of course. I recommend it. It is rocking. Rock is absolutely not dead. We're going to get into that in a little bit with Cody. Before we do, let me share what is going on in my world this week. First off, I went to the beach. I took a day off and went to the beach during the week and visited a friend who was up in town from LA. So hung out with him and his parents and brought our dogs. Had our dogs all running around the beach a couple of times. It was pretty fun and relaxing. Got to hang with a friend that I only get to see a couple of times a year because he lives in LA. So that was really enjoyable. And then yesterday, my daughter took the plunge. We went to the DMV to get her driver's permit, and that was it, opening up this next chapter of whatever parenting life is, because the road is ahead. And we went to the DMV, took the stuff that we thought we needed. It had to be pushed back a month or so because we had lost the slip from her driver's ed completion course, and she says I did it. I says I didn't lose it. I didn't throw it away. It's your responsibility. We had different takes on that, so we had to order a new copy of it. And we got that. Went to the DMV, and then got turned around to go get some other documents that we needed: a proof of residency and her birth certificate from home, which I didn't know that she would need. We get back to the DMV, and then we're filling out the forms, and then apparently I needed her social security number as well, which I didn't have handy. I thought I was going to have to take another trip back home to get that, and then go back to the DMV again. But I thought a step ahead, luckily, and was able to get that out of our taxes online. And then she went and took her driver's test, and I'm sitting over in the waiting room patiently hoping that she's going to do okay. And she told me a lot of people don't pass it the first time. I had offered my support ahead of time to help her with her practice for her test. She shut that down. So I asked her mom kindly to help her a little bit. Anyway, I'm not knowing how she's going to do in this driver's test, but she took probably 20 minutes or so, and then she texted me to come over, and then she said she passed. So I was extremely happy for her, very excited, and I scheduled her first behind the wheel driving lessons with a certified instructor. So we got a couple of those lined up, but I also let her drive in the afternoon from her friend's house to go pick up her brother from tutoring. And I'm going to do some more practice this weekend, getting some night practice in, and maybe get her on the freeway if I can get her up to it for the first time. So really proud of my daughter in taking that step. And it's just, I think back to the past 15 and a half years and wonder, where did the time go? How does this happen? How does it all happen so quick? Because it just, in a blink of an eye, this happens. You remember when they were a little baby and forget so much along the way, but see this young lady and just want to be proud of them. So I'm really proud of my daughter in that moment. It's really cool. All right, let's go ahead and let's get into the program here. We're going to bring Cody Jasper on in. Again, his new album, Rock is Dead, comes out April 10th. Check it out, will you? All right, Cody. Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you for taking the time. I appreciate it. We're going to dive into your music, of course, and the new album and all the fun stuff.
Awesome.
I like to start at the beginning, kind of learn about kind of your childhood a little bit, what you were listening to, what your parents kind of had on in the house when you were a kid. Tell me a little bit about that.
My mom was very strict with when we were kids, so I listened to a lot of Christian music, like Jars of Clay. The Newsboys was I was a big Newsboys fan when I was a kid. DC Talk, all that. And then my dad introduced me into the Allman Brothers. That was like one of the first bands I really knew their whole catalog, because my dad was a big Allman Brothers fan. And then we listened to a lot of rock, like Alice in Chains, Guns N' Roses, um then I got into Stevie Ray Vaughan and Jimi Hendrix. That's when I started really playing guitar, when I saw Stevie Ray Vaughan live at Austin City Limits on the TV, and that's when I was like, that's what I want to do.
That
And
was it. How old are you? How old are you then?
I don't know, maybe like 12. Um, and then going back to the Allman Brothers, I started playing guitar, and I just had like a little junky one. It had like the speaker in it, and I remember telling my dad, I'm getting pretty good. I'm like, Dad, I'm getting pretty good at the guitar, and he's like, you're not good at the guitar until you can play One Way Out like Dwayne Allman. And then I remember that night I sat in my room all night long and learned One Way Out on the slide. And then my dad woke me up for school the next day, and I was like, check this out. And I played him One Way Out, like did played a little lick, and he let me skip school that day, and we went
Got your Fender,
to
right? Yeah.
yeah, and got me a real guitar and a real amp that day. So it was I've always had a real special tie with Allman Brothers, so it was pretty cool.
Yeah, and you were about 14 then. So did you start making a high school bands, that sort of thing? Like, did you play?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it quickly became my entire life. Like, yeah, yeah, playing in bands. I started playing in bars actually when I was 15. I played for a Texas harmonica legend. He's in the Hall of Fame. His name is Blues Boy Willie. He passed away actually 2 years ago. But yeah, I started playing with Blues Boy Willie, playing like juke joints, and it was awesome. It taught me a lot about the blues, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And did you, and kind of the bands that you were doing, did you start like touring around the local area, playing different places, or how far did you go with your shows
Yeah,
in?
yeah, yeah. We played all over Texas, and then once I got 17, I started a band called the Wild Bills, and we literally just got in this 1974 Ford Econoline and literally played anywhere they would let us play. So we played all over the country, just making no money, sleeping in the van, but just doing it the old school way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were some bands that you saw live that kind of further kind of made you want to do this thing, right? Like what were some of the
I remember specifically seeing the Toadies when I was like 14.
mm,
My dad, maybe I was a little younger than 14. I remember going to see the Toadies in my hometown, and my dad had me on his shoulders, and I remember the bass player like telling my dad to get us out of the way because the pit was about to start, and we
yeah.
didn't move, and everybody and I got to see a mosh pit going on and watching the Toadies, and it was it was another moment where I was like, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And did you record like songs with that first band too? Did you get that far? Or?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We made like a little EP. The Wild Bills did, and then yeah, and then I started doing my solo stuff.
Yeah, and so I mean, you've gotten to share the stage with a number of really awesome rock artists as well, and I want to talk about a couple of those experiences. But let's start with Slash. Tell me about that.
That was Warren Haynes Christmas Jam. Um, they had Slash and Billy Gibbons and Warren Haynes, obviously, and
Mhm.
I got to play right before all three of them. And it was a last minute deal. I was only scheduled to do like the small club for the festival, and my manager Stephanie, she's Warren's wife and manager also, and she pulled some strings and got me to play the arena acoustic. I played after Jason Bonham and before Slash and Billy Gibbons. Yeah, it was crazy.
Wow.
I had to go after Jason Bonham
Yeah, yeah.
on
How do you follow that
an
up, huh?
acoustic. Yeah, especially with just an acoustic
Yeah.
guitar. So
Everybody, okay, we're gonna slow things down here a little bit.
yeah,
Like, but pay attention,
yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. And I mean, and you were a big fan of Warren Haynes too. So I mean, tell me kind of how that connection came about. I mean, because you've done that Christmas jam, multiple times now.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, obviously, since I was had such an obsession with the Allman Brothers growing up, once I started looking up YouTube videos, I found out this guy Warren Haynes was playing Dwayne Allman's parts, and so I mean, been a huge fan of his for as long as I've been playing guitar, and to be able to even be somewhat associated with him somehow is just a dream come true. I mean, um, yeah, we met Stephanie, and she signed me, and it's just been a great thing. She's a great manager, great person, and so is Warren. Warren's a really great person, and yeah, he actually played on my album, so I can't wait for that to come out.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to talk about that in just a minute, but I want to close out with the Christmas Jam piece because something that I thought was really cool. You did an interview with Chuck Shute, and he's kind of willing into existence you playing with STP, and then it happened after that at Christmas Jam, right?
Well, actually, wow, I need to go watch that Chuck thing because maybe I mean, yeah, because I ended up joining Stone Temple Pilots on stage one time when they came to Houston. Became friends with Rob, the bass player, and he was just like, "Hey, if you're coming to the show, you should sit in." I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm like, okay, sure. He's like, "What song do you want to play?" And of course, I chose Plush, and yeah, I mean, next thing you know, I'm backstage, Stone Temple Pilots, getting handed a guitar, and get to jump on stage. There was 16,000 people. There was them and the band live, and
yeah,
I forget who else was on the bill, but it was a monster concert, and one of the coolest things I ever did in my life. So yeah, and then I got to
yeah,
open for them again at Christmas Jam last year. So and it
yeah.
was wow, and I'm playing with them again next month. So I'm
I was
very
going to say,
excited.
yeah, you got a couple with them, so
Yeah,
you've obviously kept good ties with SDP, which is pretty cool.
yeah, yeah. It's weird to even think or say it. Every time I hear it on the radio, I'm just like, I can't believe I know these guys.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's so awesome. That's so awesome. And so, tell me about I mean, you're raised in Amarillo, so tell me kind of about the Austin music scene and your involvement in that. I mean, they have South by happening right now, and
Right
that's
now.
I've never been to one, but I mean, it just seems incredible. Like every venue is open, all hours, and playing. People cycling in and out. Big band, small, all these. Secret shows. Tell me your experience with that.
Um, Austin has been a pivotal part of my entire music journey. When I first moved here, when I was like 19, 18, I started playing literally every single day. I played Sixth Street, Monday through Monday. And so I got my chops up in Austin. And back then it was a little more of a, I wouldn't say better, but it was just the bands on Sixth Street used to be a whole thing. You had to be Sixth Street was really cool back then, and all the bands were really good, and we all learned things from each other. Gary Clark Jr. was playing, just a couple doors down from where I'd be playing, and it was just a great place to grow up and play music, and I learned so much about taste and just being a good musician out here. But South by, yeah, like I remember one year I did 18 shows in 5 days. It was insane.
That's
But
nutty.
yeah, but lately I haven't been doing them very much, just a few here and there. It's kind of slowed down. It's not the same South by it used to be. A lot of people will say that, but it's still going full force right now. It's a great festival. Saw some crazy, like you said, secret shows. I saw Prince play to a bar that was maybe 200 people.
Right?
I
That's
saw
awesome.
at the drive-in reunion one year. Yeah, South by's a great thing. Austin's a great place.
For sure. You big on barbecue in Austin too?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm not that big on it but it's everywhere here. So you kind of become. I've realized how much of a snob I am on barbecue if I go somewhere else because what my normal barbecue is some of the best in the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just if
Yeah.
I just go to if I feel like I want some barbecue, you go to Leroy Lewis, Terry Black's, or you go to some party and Franklin's is catering it,
Franklin's, right?
and,
I was gonna
and
say.
yeah,
Yeah.
and so it's like that's just what we're used to, and then you go somewhere else and you're like, what is this? This is not barbecue, not what I'm used to, but yeah.
Yeah. I went to Austin a number of years ago and I had like the best burger I'd ever had there and at this place called Gordo's. And
Oh
it does
yeah.
it doesn't exist anymore. They had I think they might have a food truck still, but they had an actual restaurant, and and it was just the most amazing burger. It was just perfect.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
sandwich with donuts, and it had bacon and avocado, and it was just brilliant.
there's a Gordo's food truck a block away from my house right now, but it's like
Uh-huh.
a they make like
Do-
donuts and
Donuts,
stuff.
the fancy donuts and everything. Yeah,
Yeah, okay,
yeah,
that's the same. I live a block
yeah.
away from it, and we get that donut like once a week, dude. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, I know. They're good. The donuts are good, but I loved it with the burger and everything when they had the restaurant and like
I'm
I
gonna have
and
to
then
try their burger if they still have it.
I don't the food truck doesn't do it. So you need to talk to them and tell them
Uh,
okay, they need to get the restaurant back and then I'll come back
yeah,
and no,
yeah.
I mean it was so funny because it was down near Colorado Street or something down near the Colorado River. I mean
Mhm.
down near there and I, I remember I kayaked on the Colorado River and then I like ran to Gordo's, but it ended up being the food truck. And then I ran back to the Colorado River and then drove over to where it was because I went to the wrong one, like to try and get it. And yeah, the next time I went, it wasn't there anymore, and it was
Uh,
yeah, a bummer. But anyway, bring the restaurant back. So
yeah.
yeah. I saw a cover of War Pigs that you did, which I thought was pretty cool too. Do you? I mean, big Sabbath fan. Do you like? Tell me about kind of that covering that song.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously a huge Sabbath fan, and with the passing of Ozzy, it just felt right. We wanted to do Chris Jam, and everyone on the bill is pretty famous, and except for me, so I was like, they're not going to know all my material. It's probably good to play them a song that they know. So we just said we did War Pigs like last minute, and because everybody knows that song, you got to know it, So we whipped it out, and it turned out to be a good part of the show. People loved
Yeah,
it.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And also recently, Billy Corgan said your song was a banger on the Allison Hagendorf podcast.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. I almost missed it. They almost didn't know that it happened. So I was like I barely check my YouTube because I don't get that much that much feedback on it, and I'm like I remember the song had came out and I wasn't getting much press on it or wasn't getting many views or plays, and I was kind of really down and out about it. I was actually pretty down and out about it, but I was sitting in my hammock and I was like, let me just go check the YouTube and see if anybody's like watched it or liked it or whatever. And there's all these comments saying like, thanks Billy Corgan, or thank you Billy Corgan for the recommendation. And I'm like, oh, what is people are I thought they were just talking crap. I was like, okay, this is just I was like, maybe Billy Corgan maybe Smashing Pumpkins had a song called Rock is Dead that I didn't know, or even my anxiety was kicking in. Maybe Billy Corgan shared it and was like, this song sucks.
Oh no,
And so I
jump to
was
that
like,
bad
what are
person.
they talking about? And so then I went to Instagram and I clicked Billy Corgan's story, and there was my face, and he shared it, and I was just like, oh my God, I mean, I freaked out. My
Yeah,
my fiance thought like something bad happened because I just jumped out of the hammock and I was like, babe. Yeah, it was so cool. I can't believe that happened.
yeah. Big Smashing Pumpkins fan. I imagine you, and
Me
I'm sure
too.
you've seen
Yeah.
them live. You know, you've seen them live a bunch of times.
Yeah, I've seen him once, but
Mm.
yeah, huge Smash Pumpkins fan, huge Billy Corgan fan. I mean, I'm a big fuzz guitar player. I play a lot of fuzz
Hmm.
pedals, and so he kind of put the big muffs on the map and that whole sound. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So tell me kind of a little bit about. So your first solo album was in 2022, Ministry of Madness, right?
Well, I actually had a solo album that came out in 2014, but it got taken off Spotify because the distribution company went under, and I didn't have the files anymore. It was like from
Oh,
2014, and that one actually did a lot of really good for me. And actually, it was when Spotify was just coming out, and I got on a bunch of playlists and had a bunch of streams. And people ask me all the time if I could put it back up there, and I'm trying to get a hold of the studio and see if they even have the files anymore. But you know how that goes.
I don't even have it anymore. You can't do
Yeah,
it. You know. Yeah, you're moving on for sure. So,
yeah,
and so did Ministry of Madness come, shortly after you left Moon Fever? Is that kind of the
yep.
timeline?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Directly after that, once that was over, I just kind of went and recorded with Frenchie and put that one out, and yeah.
And so what would you say kind of are some of the biggest things that you took from your time with Moon Fever and that you parlayed into your solo music?
I think I found my voice when I was in Moon Fever because I was just a singer, and I mean, I wrote a lot of the guitar stuff, but live I was just a singer, so it helped me find my voice as a lead singer, I think, and what I could do in the rock aspect. Because before then, I was just a blues rock guy growing up, and then I found that I had a good spot for a rock singer, and that really helped me find my voice.
Yeah, yeah, and you recently, I mean, you signed to Megaforce Records. Tell me kind of what brought you to Megaforce. How did that come about?
Stephanie and Jason from Hardhead, they went out and put their contacts together and found Megaforce, somebody to pick up the record, and they're a legendary rock label, so it's a dream come true to be on Megaforce. They're great people and they do great work, and I'm excited for this record to drop.
Yeah, yeah. So let's talk about it a little bit. Rock is Dead. That's the name of the album. It comes out on April 10th. And so tell me first off, let's start with the title and kind of dive into that a little bit because I mean, like music has obviously changed a lot over the years, and you hear ska is dead, and then but then rock is dead, and I I kind of think about that, and I don't want to believe it. So where does that come from for you? The rock is dead sentiment.
It's a total satire.
Okay.
It's because the album is just it's a rock album. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, I thought it was kind of funny to put it on there, kind of just like Rock is Dead, and then you put the record on it, and it is full blown rock.
It's not.
So
It's absolutely there. Yeah, for sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's where it came from, and I just thought it sounded cool, and it was marketable, and it just looks cool on a T-shirt, and yeah, I was like, Rock is Dead. That's what I wanted to name it, and so we went with it.
It works. And tell me about working with Aleks Von Korff because he's worked on a lot of amazing music. I mean, with other really, notable artists. How do you get set up with him? What was that? What was that like?
Actually, I just Instagram DM'd him. It was South by Southwest a few years ago, actually, when this happened. And well, what happened was the Muse record had just came out, their latest one, and I mean, I obviously love Muse, but the production was just insane. And so I was like, who did this? And I found out Aleks Von Korff, and then I followed him on Instagram. And then we were playing a show at South by, and he followed, and I looked at my Instagram, and it showed that he followed me back. And I remember being like, "Oh my God, he followed me back!" And then my band members were like, "You should just DM him and ask him if he'd be interested in doing a record." And I did, and he said, "Yeah." And and then we put the whole thing together. And he's a great dude to work with. He's a great guy. He's funny. He's an awesome cat, and he got us the go ahead to actually do the record at Muse's Matt Bellamy's like private little studio. So we were thinking about places to do it, and he's like, I can ask Matt if we can just do it here. And I'm like, are you kidding me? So got to
And
use Matt Bellamy's guitar and his pedals and his bass rig and their drum set. Like we got to use all their stuff. So
and does Matt want to be on the album by chance? Oh no, we're not going that far.
yeah,
Okay.
right. Yeah, exactly. Please. Yeah.
Yeah, that is so cool. I mean, like I said, he's done so many cool things. And I saw he was like, I think he producer engineered Wild Heart by Bleachers and off that first album of theirs. And that album is a banger. I love that album.
Yeah, yeah. He's done some amazing work, man. I can't believe he wanted to work with us.
Yeah. So what did he bring to the album? Like you go into the studio, you to record it, you have all your songs already planned out. Like what did he bring out on you for the album?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things he did that blew my mind was there was a song, like I sent him a bunch of demos, and there was a song that anyways, when I got to the studio the first day, he took my demo, my vocals and everything, and like turned it into a full-blown produced song. Like I was like, this is done. Like we don't even need to do anything with that. But I mean, we redid the vocals and added more drums and stuff, but I mean, he's just a great producer, and his knowledge is out of control, and he just knows how to make things sound like a really big budget album. He just knows how to make. I mean, his drum sounds are ridiculous. Like on the record, it's just like, it just I got to make a record that you always wanted to make. Like you always go out and make a record with your own budget, and it just doesn't sound like the ones on the radio.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, Rock is Dead's production sounds just as good as every song on the radio.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
absolutely.
thanks because of him. Yeah. So awesome to work with him.
That's so cool. And you mentioned Warren Haynes being on the album American Dream. Tell me kind of about him coming in and doing that with you.
So actually had no idea he was going to do it. It was one of those like manifesting kind of things. Deliberately, I was like, if there was a song that Warren would play on, it would be this one. And I didn't lie to everyone, but I kind of was just like, Warren's going to play on this song. Like when we were recording it, I
You
was
willed it
just
into
like, Warren's going to,
existence. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And yeah, and lo and behold, he said, yeah, he would do it. And, the coolest part was we sent him the stuff to do, and I just texted like, "Hey, if you feel like it, you can go ahead and sing some backups on the chorus if you want." Not thinking he would even do it. I was just like, "If you have time." And then we get the tracks back, and he sang backup on the choruses too. So he sang and played on the song, which is mind-blowing moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is so cool.
And
That's so
it's
cool.
like 7 minutes long because it had Warren solo on it. So it's like you can't stop him. So
No, you're not going to cut him
you
off,
can't put a
right?
fade out on Warren Haynes. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And also on the album, so "Dirty" is your new single that came out last week, and it's about a toxic relationship with a narcissist. So tell me a little bit about "Dirty" and where that came from.
That just he's one of those songs that just came out of, out of the well, I guess. I just came up with the chorus, and knew it was about someone doing you dirty, and I had plenty of ammo for that song for an old relationship a while ago, and it just just got to let it all out. That's why it's kind of like I'm rapping, and I say in the song, I thought about singing the song, but I just had too much to say. So yeah, I was like, I had to rap it to get all the words out. But it's just one of those songs you just got done really dirty, and you had a grudge, and just wanted to let it all out. And the production, that was one I wanted. Alex really crushed it. I was like, I want dirty sub. I just wanted it to be dirty sounding, and he killed it.
Yeah, yeah. What would you say is one of the most surprising pieces of advice that you've received from, like someone in rock that you've kind of followed or emulated or kind of even been mentored you maybe along the way?
Ooh, I don't know. There's a lot, but for some reason, since we were talking about Warren Haynes and playing on my record, I remember him telling me one night backstage. I forget what I was asking him for, or I think it was about playing with Stone Temple Pilots or something. And he said, the answer is always no until you ask. And I remember that's how I asked him to play on the record. I said, "Hey, you told me the answer is always no until you ask. So I was gonna ask you, which is pretty cool. So that's a good piece of advice. I mean, it's gotten me a long way just being there. You know what? Just go out and ask for it. You want to do it? Go out and ask for it. Like, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. No, I totally get that. And I found that, even here as well, I've been interviewing bands most of my life and, you don't get anything you don't ask for usually. And
yeah,
so had some pretty cool experiences by that same sort of logic, right? So
yeah.
it's pretty cool. And so are you planning to tour behind some of it? Obviously you have kids, so that makes it kind of difficult, but what does that look like to play shows, supporting the album?
Yeah, I'm working on those with the agency right now, but as far as I know, I just got a couple like showcase shows, one in New York and a date with STP, and then I'll be lining up a headline tour in the summertime. So
Nice, nice. Where do you think the headline tour will kind of take you?
totally Texas and probably the Midwest and both coasts, hopefully.
Yeah. Have you played shows out here on the West Coast? I'm sure as well. As well. What North Bay? What places do you like to play, or have you played at?
Well, actually, I got to play at um, what's the name of it in San Francisco?
The
Uh,
Fillmore,
no, the bigger one. It's
the Warfield,
in, um,
Program Civic.
it's the big historic one in the Tenderloin.
Yeah, that's a Warfield. Yeah.
No, not the
No.
Warfield.
Okay.
It's like an opera place almost.
Golden Gate Theater, or
I played that, but
that's right next to the
that
Warfield.
that's in Monterey or whatever's in Monterey. We played that one.
There's one in Monterey. I forget what it's called too.
But the one in San Francisco, what is it called?
Let me see.
It's like 3 levels. I mean, it's
Let
beautiful.
me see what I'm what we're thinking of. The War Memorial Opera House. No. I don't know. I'm blanking on it too. Which one we're
Yeah,
talking about? But
I
but
got
you
to
got to
play there
play.
opening for somebody, but I haven't played many clubs in San Francisco, North Bay area. So
Got to get out west here to play some
yeah.
clubs. So that's cool. And so kind of as we wind down, tell me a little bit about. Well, let me ask you kind of what was your favorite concert that you've ever been to as a fan?
Hmm. I don't know, man. I don't know. There's so many, but I did see Tears for Fears like 2 years ago, and that was amazing. But I think the Toadies when I was a kid was probably one of the coolest. I've never been to a show that was that electric in my life since then. I would think it might have been because I was such a young kid, but the Toadies it blew my mind.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and it really set you up for what you wanted to do with your life, like you said. It kind of
Yeah.
affirmed
Yes.
everything.
For better or for
Yeah.
worse.
Do
Yeah.
do either your kids have any musical aspirations at this point? I know they're young, but but do they kind of gravitate towards
Oh
music?
yeah. Oh yeah. My biggest views on TikTok are from my daughter singing and playing. Yeah, she's got it. And my son is one, but he's definitely, I mean, he's all about it. He loves music, he loves the guitar, plays his little drums. So yeah, they'll be into it for sure, I hope.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, Cody, I want to thank you for taking the time, getting yourself some space in your car, and and making it happen. And I wish you luck with the album coming out, of course, and hope to see you out here on the West Coast, maybe this summer,
Thanks,
huh?
man. Yeah, I really appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Well, have a good weekend ahead. Okay.
All right, you too. Bye.
All right. Thanks, Cody. That was my interview with Cody Jasper here on Concert Pipeline, and that takes us to the final segment on the program, the music news. Got a couple stories to wind out the program. First up is Osbourne related. Jack Osbourne, Ozzy Osbourne's son, welcomed his baby girl into the world, named after his father. She is named Ozzy Matilda Osbourne. So we got another Ozzy in the world. Whether she will fall into her grandfather's footsteps by namesake or not is well to be determined. But I really think that's super cute that he named his daughter Ozzy as well. She was born March 5th, and they just announced it in an Instagram post along with Sharon Osbourne. And they shared everything that she was born at 7 pounds 12 ounces 19 inches, and of course she came 8 months after the passing of Ozzy Osbourne, who died on July 22nd at his family home in Buckinghamshire after a heart attack. So there was crossover in the Ozzy Osbourne lineage where she was conceived before her grandfather died. Uh, so it's just a super simple touching moment. I really think that's cool, and I appreciate that he did that. I think his legacy will live on. Kanye West has announced the Los Angeles Bowie launch show and more European gigs as the shows meet backlash for past anti-Semitism behaviors that he had, right? So I think there's two shows that he's announced in LA at the SoFi Stadium, Friday, April 3rd, and then the second one was announced after that, I believe. So he's selling tickets, and I have my own personal feelings on it. I'm not really a Kanye fan, but especially after some of the stuff that he's done and said in his blatant disrespect, people obviously like his art and like him as an artist. And I'm not crazy. I don't know. It would be hard to find, respect for people that, that encourage that sort of behavior or support someone who is that racist and bigoted and negative of a person. But again, if I try and separate the art from the artist, I'll try and get behind it, but then it falls into categories like Michael Jackson and Bill Cosby and others who have been in similar, maybe different, situations where they've had some very heavy controversy in their life, and that we've kind of pushed against. But like I think the world still really respects Michael Jackson as an artist, even though there's a lot that can be said about things that he's done. Bill Cosby, no one's. I don't know if the people are kind of seeing him in the same light at all, but and he's. I don't think doing shows at all anymore. But it's just finding that level of separating the art from the artist. I have a hard time with it, and I don't really go that way. But to those that want to see Kanye, go for it. I guess, right? Do your thing. I won't be there. Bon Jovi is getting a blockbuster biopic. The Living on a Prayer legends are the latest to get a big screen portrayal. It's in development from the studio behind the forthcoming Michael Jackson movie. Speaking of Michael Jackson, I am excited about seeing that biopic. So it seems like a lot of artists are getting these films, and it's really cool to get just one story because you think you know the artist, and parts of it will kind of reign familiar, but then there's these other pieces to these biopics that you're like, I didn't realize that, or it's cool to be kind of brought along in this story. I really like this sort of thing. Universal Studios is developing a movie based on the life of the band, according to Variety. Little is known about the project. No cast creatives have been announced aside from Cody Broder, who will be writing the screenplay, as well as Kevin J. Walsh and Gotham Chopra, who will serve as producers. And so that's going to be what we find. Of course, Bon Jovi was formed in 1983, named after John Bon Jovi, and I'm sure he will be involved in some capacity with this biopic. Metallica has addressed the frustrating experience for fans attempting to secure Las Vegas Sphere tickets. The metal icons are set to perform 24 shows at the high-tech venue, and people had a hell of a time getting tickets. People were not very happy about that. And when, we're talking about 24 shows, I'm looking at for the Sphere capacity, which holds up to 20,000 guests. So that's 24 shows, 20,000 guests. That's a lot of tickets. That's 48,000. No. I'm so bad at that. 480,000 tickets. It's almost 500,000 tickets, if my math is correct. It very well may not be, but that is, and people can't get a ticket to that show at one of 24 dates. That's a problem. They initially started with a run of 8 dates between October 1st and October 31st. Then it expanded, went into November and January and March into 2027. They kept adding dates. Apparently, they had this all planned out with Sphere ahead of time. The shows are going to come in pairs with 2 nights, no repeat packages available for the full weekend experience. They've committed to not playing any repeat songs across each pair of shows as they did through their M72 World Tour. And good luck getting tickets. I guess, so what they said, they've completely and utterly blown away and cannot believe that they have 24 amazing nights on stage. At this point in time, they're not adding any additional shows, but they're hoping to offer more in the future. And they're going to try and find another way to do the tickets, is pretty much what they've committed to. They said, in the meantime, we hear you loud and clear that the ticket buying process was often frustrating and not always smooth. We're working with our partners to improve this experience and offer some remedies for the next time around. So pretty much Sorry, good luck. Get them from the scalpers if you couldn't get them. A woman charged with attempted murder of Rihanna following a shooting at Beverly Hills home. Ivana Lisette Ortiz is charged with 10 counts of assault with a semi automatic firearm and 3 counts of shooting at an inhabited vehicle or dwelling. So, if you didn't hear this story, uh, she and her partner, let's see, what is this? Well, she was accused of firing at the Los Angeles mansion when the singer and her partner, ASAP Rocky, were at home, and nobody was injured. Uh, in addition to the murder charge, she's been charged with 10 counts of assault. The 3 shooting charges related to Rihanna's house, her trailer, which she was inside at the time, and her neighbor's property, while the assault charges cover Rihanna, her family, 2 members of staff, and 2 people in the neighboring house, according to Sky News. She initially entered a not guilty plea, but it was withdrawn ahead of the arraignment. She's being held on a 1.8 million pound bail. And so she was accused of driving up to the front of the house and firing the weapon multiple times at it before fleeing. Her white Tesla was later found about 8 miles from Rihanna's home at the Sherman Oaks Galleria shopping center, where the woman was taken into custody. And there were people in Rihanna's home as well as the property adjacent to it at the time of shooting. It's careless violence. It's not going to be tolerated in the community, and so they're pressing charges. Last story of the podcast: Violet Grohl announced her debut album "Be Sweet to Me" with rock-licking single "595." She has plans to release her debut album, and of course, she's Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters, drummer. And her album's set to come out on May 29th. It's going to be available in black, blueberry jam, exclusive to indie retailers, and ivory vinyl. And you can pre-order it ahead of time. She shared 2 tracks off the album, Thumb and Applefish. And she's now has dropped the third single, 595, is inspired by a vintage t-shirt advertising a phone sex line and features the lyrics, "I'll be your 1-900 G-spot baby. 595, I'm on the line. You won't last." And there's a video for it also. So, I looked it up. Her dad did not do drums on the album, so I was kind of curious about that if he was playing on his daughter's album or anything along those lines, but no, the full track listing is out as well. And her father recently revealed he had no idea that his daughter had signed a record deal until she told him at dinner. So she did it all on her own. And he says, "So Violet, my daughter, she's 19, about to turn 20. She made this album with a producer named Justin Raisin. And she did it on her own. She met the producer, and they would go in the studio every day, and she would send me songs when it was finished. But I had absolutely nothing to do with this record at all." And he said that while he would have loved to be more hands-on with the project, he was left unaware of the massive progress she was making until she sat down and told him. I had no idea she was looking at a record deal until she was like, "Hey, Dad, can I come over for dinner tonight?" And he said, "Yeah, sure. What do you want me to make?" And she came over and told him, "I signed my record deal today." And he's like, "Oh my God, I'm totally uninvolved. I'm the dad who wants to be there, know everything." And she's just totally doing her own thing. It's amazing. But of course, they've worked together before, released a cover version of Nausea, originally by punk band X. In 2021, she's hit the road with the Foo Fighters, starting in 2018, doing backing vocals at a number of gigs, performed with them at tribute concerts, including for the late Taylor Hawkins, and more. So you can check that out if you want to hear some Violet Grohl. I don't see any tour dates or anything for her, but more to come as I find it out. And of course, the Foo Fighters are playing Bottle Rock in Napa a couple of days before Violet Grohl's album comes out. So you want to see Foo Fighters, you got to see them at Bottle Rock. The show is sold out. The whole festival is sold out, all 3 dates. And I will be going to the second date where the Foo Fighters are playing, of course. So looking forward to that. Also, a couple of days before Bottle Rock, Dan Leyes from Augustana is going to be bringing his Augustana show to Sweetwater in Mill Valley. I'm going to be interviewing him there. Most of my interviews I do through Zoom now, but Augustana I am a big fan of and have been for 20 years since their first album, All the Stars and Boulevards came out, and I saw them play it at Cafe du Nord in San Francisco, and many times since. And he's been on the program a handful of times. And I proposed to my ex-wife on stage at their show at the Fillmore, so I have a lot of history with that band. I'm going to be interviewing Dan again about this album, in which he's playing the album in its entirety. This album that I love so much. I can't wait to see the show, to talk to him about it, to be there in the moment in this little club in Mill Valley, California, that I've seen many great shows at. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So more to come in the coming weeks, of course. For all of us here at Concert Pipeline, I'm Steve Jones. We'll catch you next time.